Well, good evening, everyone. Uh, another day of history for me. I sat up here tonight and I watched the presidential debates between Ms. Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Something that I never thought in my lifetime I would see. A good evening, Gail, dear. How you doing? Something in my lifetime I thought I would never see a black woman. And yeah, I'm gonna say she's a black woman running against a white man for the president's presidency. Commentary by Joyce. Welcome, dear. Welcome, sweetheart. First of all, I want to say that in watching this, my idea was to see if this man had enough sense to come up there with a little dignity and a little class. And I noticed from the very beginning, my answer was going to be no. Because when Kamala Harris came out, if you noticed, she walked over to Donald Trump and extended her hand. He acted like he was shaking hands with a pile of trash or doo doo or rubbish. I'm just gonna say it like it is. Uh, Also, I want to say that it's not with me. It's not about man versus woman or black or white or the color. It's about the politics of our nation and where are we going? Are we going to go backwards or are we trying to move forward? I would say that the way things are today, thank you, comments by Joyce. Thank you for that. I'm going to say the way things are today, there's a lot of people that want us to go backwards, but there's a majority of us that wants to move forward in life. And tonight, Kamala Harris showed me that even though the odds are against her, she wants to move forward. She wants to go ahead and have a country that's going to be greater than it is. She showed me that she cared about people no matter what race, creed, color, sexual orientation, or whatever. Donald Trump, on the other hand, showed me that he's still out there trying to spread rhetoric, lies, hate, division, misconception about the way this country should be. Point in case, why, when it came to the economy, he refused to answer the question about the economy. What would he do for the economy? He didn't mention any tax cut breaks. He didn't mention anything. What he did, we ran straight off into immigration of the country about the people crossing the border, uh, called them all drug dealers, killers, things that people shouldn't even be thinking about. That number one, we should think about why are they leaving their country coming over here. If you look at places like Argentina, you look at places like Haiti, Brazil, and all, their government is corrupt over there. They have people that are trying to get away. Mexico, the gangs and the drug cartel, they're trying to get away from those things. Now, is it right that they cross the border illegally? No, it's not right. But when you're looking for freedom, you're looking for a better way of life, you're going to try to get it any way you can. And let's face it, no one wants to live in a dictatorship. No one wants to live under a dictator. And with Donald Trump, I feel that he wants to be a dictator. He talked about leaders of a country as if everything they were doing was right, like Putin invading the Ukraine. He talked about the United Nations, NATO, that they were not, they were suckers for even in the European nation for helping the Ukraine in the war against a guy that he admires. He admires Putin. He admires the things that the Chinese dictator has done to people. That's all I've seen out of him in this debate. Kamala Harris, on the other hand, to me, and ladies, please listen. Good evening, TC. Much love to you, dear. Hope you're doing well. Kamala Harris showed to me tonight that with a little work and a little perseverance, we as a nation can move forward. Now, I don't agree on a lot of things that the Democrats do, and I definitely don't believe a lot of things that the Republicans do. But one thing I do admire about Kamala Harris is that even as a prosecutor, she said she fought for the people. And when you use those words for the people and you think about it, that was her job, fighting for the people. She's going to continue to fight, I believe, for the people. And I believe that she will, as a woman, use her instincts. And when I say instincts, I mean womanly instincts to guide this country into a prosperous, wonderful place again to where people won't be afraid to walk down the streets. Uh, they will have homes. We will have small businesses coming back to this country, doing the things, the mom and pop stores I remember growing up with before corporate greed came around. As a woman, she understands the importance of a woman having the right to choose whether to have children or not, which men should have that in their heads too, that it's a woman's body and she should be able to do with her body when it comes to having children. It's her right to decide. It's not left up to the courts or the states to say that you will be thrown in jail because you decided to have an abortion, and especially when it's out of rape or incest or the things that people don't really look at in life. They don't really think about in life. It is busy in Philadelphia. That's true, TC. I've been watching that too. I've also seen the march that they had in Philadelphia tonight with the people out of the country, Arab countries. Yep, security is tight. It's tight right now. But like I said, tonight I watched that debate and it made me realize that we are at a critical point in time of the world and of history to that people need to get out and vote. I don't care if they never voted a day in their life. Look at the stories, look at the things that are going on in the world, and look at the things that are happening, not only here in this country, but in other places too. Yeah, a lot of protesters about that. Now that's crazy. I mean, yeah, we can look at it and say one way, say about one thing that it's those people over here have people over in the other country, and they have a right to protest about it. But on the other hand, the war that's going over in Palestine and all that, let's face it, I've been watching wars for years and been around. Those are religious wars. And that's another thing we have to look at. Religion. People are, there are some, well, as we call them, religious fanatics that believe so much in the different aspects of religion that they're willing to give their lives for what they believe in. You know, um, like I said, man has created that himself. I don't think God has put upon the world a burden to that we can't sit back and talk about it and discuss it and make it plausible for people of different backgrounds and different ideology to get together and try to come together as one. The United States has always been into believing that freedom of choice, freedom of speech, and freedom of this and that is the best thing for a country. But we also have to look at now, and I'm not going to get off into rhetoric or anything else. We have to look at our history too, how we responded as a country, the things we did to certain people in order to get to where we are today. Okay, we can make a case in point about the Indians or the natural people of this country that were here before they claimed they discovered America, but America was already discovered. That's another thing. But I'm talking about things that are going on in the world today with Kamala and Trump on that first debate. And let's face it, I enjoyed the way that she made him look like a fool. I enjoyed the way that she baited him into showing us that he's not interested in the American people. He's only interested in himself. With freedoms, with all freedoms, TC, there is consequences. There's consequences in freedom. But here's the point. Here's my point. Just because we have freedoms doesn't mean that we have the right to go out there and do something to someone because we don't like them because of the color of their skin or the content of their character or the way that they love a person of the same gender and all that. Yeah, we talk about it, we bring it about, but it's not right. But yet we look at some people, like I said, are religious fanatics. They believe in the Quran, they believe in the Bible, they believe that God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. That's the kind of stuff we talk about. But yet, if we look back when Jesus was on this earth, he told us everything that God put on earth was good. Everything that God made was good. And God has made people different. God has made people different. He's made to where people of the same sex can look at each other and fall in love. He made it so that doctors can actually heal people that are sick. He made it that each day when we wake up, we should be able to say thank you for another day. Because let's face it, during Bible to biblical times, they talked about the earth being destroyed. They talked about cities being destroyed. But he promised that he would never destroy the earth again. That was his promise. But what is man's promise? Are we going to destroy our own self because we believe that we don't have the right to do this? We don't have the right to do that, or you don't have the right to speak it, your point. All I'm saying is that me at my age, and you guys know, I've been around, I've seen things, I've done things, I've had things done to me. But I also realize that no two human beings think alike. Even if they're married, they don't think alike. The only thing that I ask is that listen to the facts. Look at your economy. Look at the way things are going in this world today. I can remember when a loaf of bread was 25 cents. I can remember when you could go to a gas station and get gas for what? No more than 40, 55 cents a gallon. Yes, the economy has changed. Things have gotten higher and we paid more for everything. But let's look at the real reason why. Corporate greed, people not caring anymore. All it is about money in the world today. And I'm just I'm just wondering how far is it going to go? And right now is the most critical point in our life of history. There is a woman, a black woman out there running for president of the United States. Like I said, something even in my lifetime, when I was looking at Martin Luther King, Bobby Kennedy, and all those guys, never thought about a woman running for president. It was always about the man being a leader. But I'm going to say this, and I might get my head chewed off about it, but there are some good women out there that can be leaders. There are some women out there, if we think about it, guys, if you were married at one time or really had a good relationship, they balanced the budget at home when our asses went out there and spent too much money. They were able to provide us with a meal when we didn't have enough, we thought we didn't have enough food in the house. They were able to comfort us at times when we were sick and hurt. And they also have the compassion to know that it was their job to make their man feel good. Kamala to me tonight showed me those old time values as a woman. She doesn't want to leave anybody behind. She wants to go back and pick up people by their, give them a hand. Tax breaks, child care tax breaks, which we know in this country now, all women, single and married women and families need a child tax break. We also know that jobs need to be created, housing, affordable care, all that stuff needs to be done now. We can't wait for it 15, 20 years down the road. On the other hand, Donald Trump is is still lying. When he made that statement about people calling in about their cats and dogs missing, being ate up by the immigrants, right there, the rhetoric and the things that he said to me, listening to him, this man is not he's not living in reality. That's all I'm going to say. He's not living in reality. Let's not forget, too, that on January 6th, almost 4 years ago, it's been over 4 years, there was a resurrection to where people stormed the Capitol to try to change the election after we, the people, had voted for a president, a new president. Was the election stolen? No, it couldn't have been stolen. But just because one man wants to be, and I'll say this, and I hope they say freedom of speech is free, but our freedom of speech when it comes to speaking upon somebody can be scrutinized. I would say that being a dictator, I don't want to live in a dictator country. I don't want to live in a democracy to where the police can come knock on my door anytime and force me to do something I don't want to do. I don't want to live in a country to where my children or my great grandchildren, I'll put it that way, my grandchildren, because I'll never have any kids, will never know what it's like to get a good education. I don't want to live in a country where we're going backwards to where you're seeing people not being able to sit at a lunch counter and eat a decent meal. I don't want to go back to the times to where people were being, and I'll say it, hung in a tree, or poor little black children losing their lives because of a lie that someone told on them. I just don't want to go back to that. Make America great again. Let me tell you something. America has never been great when it came to slavery. It was never great with Jim Crow. And it was never great when they denied people their rights. And there was a lot of things back in the day that denied people their rights. So as I sit up here and I listen, I'm going to be listening to all the politicians and people speak upon who won the debate, who lost the debate, points that were made. Just remember, do you want a country that's going to thrive and move forward, or do you want it to be stagnant and then go back to where you can't speak and you can't say anything out there in the world? My endorsement tonight is for Kamala Harris. And I hope all the people on YouTube will get together and support that woman and let her know, people. And I know there's some people that are Republicans out there, black people that are Republicans, but if they believe in somebody like Donald Trump, that's all I'm going to say. If they believe in Donald Trump, heaven help us all. Heaven help us all. KMB, good evening. Glad to see you here. And independent, yeah, that's great. You know what? That's another thing. Independent thinking is something that we have gotten away from throughout the years. Uh, I remember I lived in a house. Like I said, my parents were different religions. My dad was Catholic, my mother was Baptist. But they let us children chose what we were going to study far as religion or where we would go to church and stuff. They gave us our independence. They didn't make us go here because daddy went there or go there because mommy went there. They let us decide. And we were smart enough to look in it and talk about it too. That's another thing. We sat down and talked about things. So being independent, no matter if you're a Democrat independent or a Republican independent, you're able to change your mind and do things. I remember when Dwight Eisenhower was president. I love Ike. We love Ike. Okay, yeah. Did he do things for us that we like? Well, some say yes, some say no. John F. Kennedy, during his presidency, I remember a lot of things. The assassination, how it made a country cry that day. We cried and wept over. No matter if we were a Republican or a Democrat, we cried because we lost a leader. His brother, Bobby Kennedy, lost his life, and he hasn't even made it as president then. He was giving a speech, left and walked around into a kitchen in a hotel and was gone. They gone. Young people, and what made it so bad, it was the young people, men. They were young. They were young. They had dreams. They had aspirations. Martin Luther King, a great spokesman, a great person with civil rights, cut down in the prime of his life. Before him, Medgar Evers, which a lot of people have forgotten about Medgar. History, I've lived through a lot of history, people. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And right now, this year, at this election time, let's not let it get ugly. As you say, yeah, no candidate is going to do everything that you want them to do. That is so true. Finish reading Project 2025 is very disturbing. It is very disturbing. That's another thing that she pointed out. 2025. She brought it up. He didn't want to talk about it. He didn't have anything idea about it. He don't know what it was. Okay, if you're in politics and you got a group of people that's in your party and they come up with a plan, you don't know what it is? Come on. See that, and that's what he showed me tonight. He has no plan. He has no plan on how to run the country except going after those that went after him or disagrees with his policies. So tonight, I'm just saying, people, be cognizant of things that are going on politically. Get out there, voice your opinion, state your facts and the way you feel about it. And may God have mercy on this country because right now we're in a time to where it is being divided. It's being divided, not only because she's a black woman running for president, but because, period, she is a woman. She is a woman. With that being said, okay, Miguel, thank you, or Kamala. Right, and I'm endorsing her too. And tonight, you guys, Taylor Swift endorsed her, so that's another big move. Ladies, get together, have discussions here on YouTube about Kamala. What do you like? What do you want to see her to do as the first female president of the United States? Remember, I said female because we've always had males. What would you like that woman to do if she's elected president of the United States? With that being said, I'm going to say good night to y'all and have a good one. And let's keep our eyes on the prize. Thank you for coming up, TC. KMB, thank you for being here. Laguerre, my moderator, you're always here. Thank you, dear. Thank you all for listening. And with that being said, okay. Yeah. See that? A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that. That's it. It started back in the Reagan era. Project 2025. So have a blessed evening. I might come back later on tonight and do some music or just to get the craziness out my head. You guys have a great evening. If I don't see you, I'll see you on the YouTube streets. Love you as Jesus loves all of us.